Hey everyone, I'm Jay, and this is the 2016 Mazda MX-5 Miata. I've actually been receiving a lot of requests to do an unboxing review of this car, and today I'm very excited because I finally get the chance to do it. So, the Mazda MX-5 Miata, without question, it is one of my favorite sports cars of all time. There's a lot of reasons why, and I hope to address all those reasons over the course of the next several minutes. But to give you a brief history of the MX-5 Miata, the first generation came out back in 1989, but Mazda began developing it in 1981. And the Miata, it's meant to be, like a throwback, a tribute to the classic British roadster. Rear-wheel drive, front-engined, very simple but small. But the difference with the Miata compared to, let's say, the Triumph Spitfire, Austin Healey Sprite, MGB, and specifically the Lotus Elan, is that the Miata, it's reliable. It has that Japanese build quality. It, unlike those British cars, will not leak oil in your garage or just suddenly break down. It combines the best of both worlds, the driving fun and the open top, wind in your hair experience of those British roadsters, but Japanese reliability. And Mazda's been doing this for almost 30 years now. Now, the car you see here, this is the fourth generation MX-5 Miata. It came out in 2014. Compared to the previous third generation MX-5 Miata, this car is actually 4 inches shorter and 220 pounds lighter. Because believe it or not, Mazda believed that the Miata was getting to be too big. For real. It is supposed to be small, lightweight, but throughout the generations, it was just getting a little bit bigger and adding on the pounds, and Mazda felt it just broke away from its true heritage. So it took several years for them to develop the car you see here. It's an all-new chassis, all-new engine, sheet metal design, but it's supposed to be the closest thing to the first generation Miata that came out way back in 1989, and Mazda, in my opinion, absolutely nailed it here. So looking at the design, the exterior here, you can see that there's not a lot of body mass that's done on purpose. They just shaved as much weight off as possible. This car weighs around 2,300 pounds, and that's extremely light for a car of any size these days, considering there's a lot of technology packed into them and whatnot. But just look up close at the angles here. You can see even with the rear, everything is just angled down so that there's just no extra body where it's not necessary. Look at the way those taillights just melt right into the side fenders. Look here at that short front overhang. I think it just looks so good. And this car, it has the optional 17-inch alloy wheels, but it's cool because 16-inch alloys are standard. Overall, the stance, the proportions of this fourth generation Miata, it's perfect. I know there's been criticism in the past regarding the looks. Some have claimed the Miata, I don't like saying it, but it's been called like a girly car. It looks too feminine. I've never really personally thought that, but I understand that Miata fans have, they've wanted Mazda to kind of add a little aggressiveness to the Miata over the years, and I think with this fourth generation car, Mazda designers really did that. Now, under the hood, this is, remember, I want to stress, this is not a high-performance sports car. It's a fun-to-drive roadster. This is a 2.0-liter Sky-Activ 4-cylinder engine with direct injection. It has a total of 155 horsepower and 148 pound-feet of torque. It is a naturally aspirated engine. It's not turbocharged, but it's actually very fuel efficient. Believe it or not, it has 27 miles per gallon in the city, 34 miles per gallon on the highway, and a combined 30 miles per gallon average. But a good friend of mine who just bought a 2016 MX-5 Miata, he, on the highway, when he was going under 65 miles per hour, was able to achieve 42.5 miles per gallon, which is very impressive. So there are only two transmission options available for this car. The standard is a 6-speed manual transmission. It's short throws. It's just a great gearbox. The optional one is a 6-speed automatic with paddle shifters on the steering column. Listen, if you're going to buy a Miata, you should be getting the 6-speed manual. That's what this car is all about, being in full control, purest driving. It's that simple. Now, the interior here, just like the exterior, it's simple. There's nothing there that absolutely doesn't have to be there. It's meant to reduce weight, reduce mass, and that's what a Miata is all about. Simplicity. There's an old quote by Colin Chapman, and he's the guy who founded Lotus. It's a British car company, sports car company, racing company, very famous. One of the cars that inspired the Miata, in fact, was the Lotus Elan. But Colin Chapman said it's very famous, simplify, then add lightness. And I think Mazda engineers have done exactly that, especially with this latest MX-5 Miata. Another interesting fact is the Miata name, it's only used in North America. Outside of North America, it's simply referred to as the Mazda MX-5. In the US and Canada, it's MX-5 Miata. It's just sort of the way things manage to work out. But I'm going to start the car up here, and I want you to hear it's just a very nice but unoffending sound to this engine. So again, it's definitely not a supercar, exotic, or high-performance sports car, but it's not at all meant to be. So let's talk performance. 0 to 60 miles per hour happens in 6.3 seconds, which, believe it or not, is actually a half a second faster than the previous Miata. But as I keep stressing here, the Miata is not about going fast. It's about twisty mountain roads and conquering them in the ideal little roadster. And what's also really good about the MX-5 Miata here is that it has 50-50 weight distribution. And it just doesn't get any better than that. And it's very hard to engineer that. And I applaud Mazda's engineers for making that happen here, which is something that is required in any generation Miata, near 50-50 weight distribution. But over the years, Mazda has also added technology to the MX-5 Miata. For an example, this touchscreen system here, this is optional on this particular car. This is the Grand Touring model. I'll get to the different trim levels in a few minutes. It is a 7-inch full-color display. It has a nav system, and I also stressed for you to take a look at the piano black seat trim bar. It's just really, just overall great quality. There's also full leather seating in this particular car, but all MX-5 Miatas come with a leather shift knob and handbrake. This car also has a leather-wrapped steering wheel, and it's just an overall really nice cockpit to be in. The seating position is perfect. It is ideal for heel and towing. When you hit that clutch, it doesn't get any better than this. As far as his nav system goes, overall, I felt it was pretty good. I really like the way it just sort of pops up right there on top of the dash. It's at a very convenient place for the driver to see everything. Everything is controlled, as you saw, by a little knob on the center console there. Have I seen better systems? Yes. Specifically, I'm thinking of Chrysler's Uconnect system. But Mazda's system here is actually very good. I was quite happy with it. This car also has a dual zone climate control. This is an extra feature, but I always stress that I like the fact that Some controls here are still analog with knobs as opposed to everything being controlled on a single touchpad screen. Now, I wanted you to take a look at this here. You can see the cup holders right there, but they're removable. Why is that? Because Mazda did not deem them to be absolutely necessary. Again, it's about cutting weight. And when you cut weight, you also have to cut down interior space. And there just simply was not enough space to put a permanent cup holder or cup holders right there, hence them being removable. But I think that's part of the charm of the MX-5 Miata. It's not about having the most technology or going the fastest possible from a standstill. It's about just going back to a time when driving is what mattered most. I also like this car's 6-speaker audio system. Actually, this one has an upgraded system compared to the base car, and it just sounded really, really good. But I got to tell you, I was driving this car most of the time with the top down, and the music was secondary. I was listening to the road in front of me. But what's super cool about this top, it is a soft top cloth material. It's not leather or anything fancy, but it's completely manual. You raise and lower it just by opening up that switch there. I was able to do it at a traffic light when I was waiting for it to turn green. It's that easy. But what's interesting, if you do want a hardtop MX-5 Miata, Mazda has just made that happen. It's called the Mazda MX-5 RF. RF stands for retractable fastback, and that car was just revealed a few months ago. It's got this really kind of cool Targa look to it. I hope to review that MX-5 Miata fairly soon, but it will add a little bit of weight to the car. So let's talk the competition here, and this is where it gets very, very interesting. The Miata doesn't really have any direct competitors. The closest one that I was able to come up with is the Subaru BRZ Toyota 86, that was formerly called the Scion FRS. That car has also a 2.0 liter Boxer 4, but has a little more power, 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. The difference, though, is the Subaru BRZ Toyota 86, it is a hardtop only, it does not come as a convertible, and there is a small rear seat, which is nice for storage, but on the other hand, it doesn't have that classic British roadster feel to or look to it, more or less. But with having a small rear seat, it does make your insurance costs go down a little bit more. So bear that in mind. Another possible competitor is the Nissan 370Z. Now, that car does cost more money. It starts at $30,000, tops off at over $45,000, but the engine, it's only one available. It's a 3.7-liter V6 with 332 horsepower and 270 pound-feet of torque. That car is also rear-wheel drive, front-engined, but more expensive, but it is a bit more powerful. But in my opinion, the MX-5 Miata still handles even better. If your budget allows, there is also the Porsche 718 Boxster. Now, that car starts at around $50,000. It does have 295 horsepower from its 2.0-liter turbocharged Boxer 4. You'll be the judge, but I think for what this car costs, starting at $25,000 for the entry-level Sport, the mid-range Club begins at just under $29,000, and the car you see here starts at $30,000. Fully loaded, 30 grand, this Mazda MX-5 Miata can be yours. Again, I can't speak enough about this car. Only complaints I have, trunk space is a little small, and there's a lot of cabin noise at speed with the top up or down, but again, that's what's part of the driving experience of an MX-5 Miata. Again, it just looks so good. This red and black combo. I'm still in love with this car after all these years. This is the car that I learned to drive a stick shift in, so the MX-5 Miata will always hold a special place in my heart. Alright everybody, I'm out of time today. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any more questions for me, please leave them for me in the comments section below. Any other cars you'd like to see me review, also please leave those suggestions in the comments section as well. Be sure to check out the full review of the 2016 Mazda MX-5 Miata Grand Touring at carbuzz.com, and I'll see you next time for my next unboxing review video.